Hey, I just want to take you through these numbers real quickly. This is going to go really fast, so hang in there. These are our comps for the last year. You may know just roughly what they sold for, but sometimes it's hard when you break it down per square foot. So this one's 196 a square foot, and let me order them so it'll make it a little easier here. So starting at the lowest to the highest, I'm going to go through these. It's interesting too because one of these is not like the others, and I'm surprised it sold for as much. Okay, so this one is on Stafford. We're only doing all upstairs square footage houses with no basement, so that we can kind of set a base for what the upstairs could be worth, and kind of treat the downstairs at this point as just a bonus. And treat it as unfinished area. So then again, this one's really nice, 175 a square foot. I think this is the one that kind of throws a wrench in it. Yeah. Okay, so this one's 185 a square foot, and you can see the floors haven't been redone. The kitchen hasn't been redone. It's still got a weird double oven that costs a fortune if you ever have to replace it. It did have a little bit of basement here. I feel like I've shown this and it was really twisty, but it wasn't counted in the square footage. So if it was livable, I mean, if it was all really decent, maybe. And that could be the reason. It's just they add it as a basement, so to speak. So take that in consideration or not. It doesn't really matter because it's kind of in the mean. Anyway, it's if we took it out, it wouldn't change things much. Okay, so this one's on Belding, shared driveway. I actually did a listing appointment on this house. It used to be owned by a Hermitage Church of Nazarene lady. Wonky thing. I showed it before any of this was there. And I passed showing this, or my client passed on it because of the shared driveway when it came for sale this last time. I didn't get the list that time that I did it. So anyway, and this is January 3021, highest per square foot, pretty much a dollhouse. Cabinets, I'm not so sure about, but anyway, so there you go. We don't use averages much, but top notch, you're looking at about 196 a square foot. If you were going to use averages, I would average these three, and that's what appraisers do. But since we're leading the market and we're trying to get more when we list, we don't usually use those. So if you wanted to, you could do this, and you would basically come out with 183 a square foot. The square footage is similar enough that it doesn't matter, but ironically, I did want to point out that the ones that only got one full bath out of it were actually a little bit larger. So to redo these real quickly, if you wanted to take the two lowest ones so that you didn't feel pressure to lose upstairs square footage for another little bathroom, then you'd be looking at about 172 a square. So fixed up, yeah, this is not good. Fixed up, we multiply that, say 176 right here to 1264, and we end up with 217 on the upstairs square footage. I think any house, the basement, when it's like used as a basement garage type thing, and you just have the extra storage and the extra whatever you plan to do with it, that's going to add about $20,000 to it. So you would be looking at about, top-notch condition, about 237 based on that analysis. So if we wanted to then just take, our best comp, and in this case our most recent comp, which is always telling, at 199, and multiply that times 1264. Now you're looking at 250. The price per square, the bathroom thing on paper, appraisers will take houses with one bath and comp them with houses with two baths and make small adjustments. I've never really found a consistency in old areas where maybe two bathrooms wasn't expected. So I think the price per square foot still holds with the two baths. So at 199 a square foot, that'd put you at 251. If you did a kicker for the basement, then you'd be looking at like 271K. And so if you just kind of go between those two numbers, which I already forgot the first number, but hopefully you remember. But if you go between those first, what did I say? Oh, 237. So if you go between 237 to 51, that's what you're looking at with the upstairs. So I think you have a solid thing, a solid house at that point. If you can, as cheaply as possible, get the pressure off that wall, and make sure you have some money left over to do things. House didn't fall down, I assure you, but you just got so much elbow grease that has to go into it that we really need him to get it squared away for us, somewhere in that margin range. And it has to appraise out. So he may not want to do that because he's afraid it might not appraise out. However, if he's going to do it anyway, he might as well do it anyway. So hope that helps. Talk to you soon.